things like that. But it was good. It was good. We went to Disneyland, which I have to say was great. And one day, and then we spent a day at Legoland, which was awesome.
$1. Another day, another $1.
It was. I was
Whenever you guys are.
kind of worried about driving.
I had to reboot, so I'm not ready.
How you doing? You know how to run this airplane?
Am I in charge tonight?
Yeah.
All right.
Carolyn, she was the other one.
What?
Was the other two? I couldn't think of the other person.
She's in London.
She's in Ireland.
Ireland.
Oh, Ireland now, yeah.
Yeah.
Danielle and Carolyn, those two could come.
All right.
Jamie's coming.
She's gonna try to. I don't know if she's gonna make it or
She said she was coming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
Jamie, I got a text saying she's coming.
Yeah.
All right. Let's call to order the Monday, September 17th, 2018 meeting for the Washington Historic Preservation Commission. Roll call.
not. Carolyn Witt, Steve Struberg,
Here.
Ryan Bogue,
Here.
Rick Hopp,
Here.
Danielle Grotwheel, Jamie Holtmeyer, Andrew Clary,
Here.
Bridget Couch,
Here.
Joe Holtmeyer, Mark Hydrich, Susan Waterman, Sal Maniaci.
here.
And it will no longer be John, it will be Tom, and he is not here.
Jamie's here.
And Penny.
We've got the Holdmeyer contingent.
Here.
All right. If please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Jamie sent out the minutes, which would be from the July 17th meeting. We didn't have one in August, so I didn't know if everybody had a chance to look them over.
Yeah, I did.
I so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. New business, the first item, and Sal, you can kind of fill us in on this, I
Yes.
guess, is
I apologize.
Elijah
I'm pulling it
McLean.
up right now. So we received about a month ago a application for a new sign at Elijah McLean, 600 West Front Street. So not only was it going to have to come for the certificate of review anyway, like any sign would, but this one in particular, it is. Let me pull it up. I apologize. Let me scroll down here. The current design is not permitted under the new code unless specifically granted by the Historic Preservation Commission. So in March of 2017, when we opened, we updated our new code and updated specifically not only the Historic Preservation section, but also the sign code. We changed it so backlit signs could no longer be permitted in historic districts, and electronic message display boards, so these LED message display signs, are no longer permitted as well. However, both of those sections in the sign code have caveats that say they can be improved. They're prohibited unless deemed contributing by the Historic Preservation Commission. So this is one of the cases where we do have mandatory review, mandatory compliance, or the certificate could have conditions and that kind of thing, where this board can actually put design conditions on there if those two types of designs stay in the proposed sign. So that's just, I know that was the first time this has been requested because this is the first time we've had that type of sign since we updated the code. So I just want to give you some background there. And I know you guys were all sent the sign. Let me pull it up here. It's got the basics of the size, the ID cabinet, message center. It does say that it's going to stay black and white. I know that was one concern that we had whenever we decided to make sure we prohibited electronic display boards, that they're going to be a lot of change copy, a lot of color that did not fit with it. And the same with those backlit cabinets, that just does not fit the historical criteria that we have in our downtown. You can see the sign they have now is technically backlit, but that would be one that I think would go to the commission and say, is it contributing because it's been there forever. Same with the Bank of Washington's sign.
Well,
at
it's
the top.
existing and grandfathered.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Bank of Washington sign technically on at the top is backlit. So those would be signs where if they would have came in after the code that this board would have to specifically approve. Let me keep scrolling, and that's really all I have. They show pictures of the existing sign and then the proposed sign here. And there are some representatives here from Elijah McLean's to answer your questions, and then I can answer any questions on the code if you have that as well.
So, Sal, this is almost like equivalent of getting a variance, I guess. I mean, it's not allowed, what they're proposing is not allowed.
Correct.
In the sign code.
Right, and so the reason they don't have to go to the Board of Adjustment for variance is because the code does specifically say that this commission can approve it. So if it gets denied, and anything can go to the Board of.
Are we approving it, or would we be more like a recommendation and then?
Nope, you would be approving it, so the
Okay.
certificate of review would have.
Okay.
If there's conditions on or whatever, the certificate of review would be for either as submitted or as revised, whatever this commission deems necessary, so.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Or anybody?
I guess I have, yeah, Diana, are you?
This is Anthony, contractor. First of all, we did the sign to match the construction of our building. And that's like the whole front of the house and everything, as you can see in this picture here. It's all up here and everything, and over the doors and everything. So we did the sign to match the construction of our building. We also are, when we do have that reader board below, it would be black, it would stay in white, it would never flash, it would not, anything like that. We would change it one time a day. That would be either to say wine dinner's tonight, 7 o'clock, or congratulations, because we're going to be an event center to whoever got married. I mean, brunch today, when we start our brunch, different things like that, and our hours. And we're so far off the beaten path, way up the hill, that would really help, I mean, it would really help our business alone. And I know it's, after we met with Sal and everything, I know all the signage part and everything's all within means.
That's correct, so I didn't bring that up. Outside of the design, the actual size and location meets the sign code for the other requirements, it's just the design itself.
And also, there would not be, the way it's going to be built and out of the construction that we're going to do, there would be no upkeep to the sign at all. I mean, it would all be, it's made out of python or,
Yeah, all of composite material, wood rot.
Yeah.
It would look just like the building, how we redid the, I don't know if you guys been by there, rebuilt the deck
Yeah, it
and
looks great.
everything. It's all maintenance-free, but it will look like a wood. You know, it was wood, originally built out of wood, but it would be composite materials.
Well, for me, I have no issue with what it looks like. My issue comes in with the backlit sign and the electronic scrolling potentials, the electronic LED board on the bottom. It looks great. I mean,
You
it
can
looks,
tell you put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw the top, I was like, it's all over the whole.
Well, it has to
whole
be
building. It really-
nice, I mean, we're upscale place, I mean, it's gotta be,
Yeah.
it's gotta look good, I mean, put a lot of money in the building.
and honestly, the LED board below would not really look like an LED board because it's just going to be lettering that won't blink, it won't change or anything, but we can change it, you know, from the building, which is the main thing, instead of going out and putting those cheap letters on signs. I was in the sign business before, so.
And I do just want to mention that is, because this is the first time that this would come up.
Yeah.
Conditions of approval can be added to the certificate, just to keep that in mind. If the commission,
We can approve it pending,
yeah, it's just that it's.
what's the recourse, not saying that you would, what's the, people change, staff changes.
Well-
What's your recourse if they don't?
Well, the sign code is technically part of and the historic preservation code are now lumped into the zoning chapter, and so it would be considered a zoning violation, and it could be noticed up for a fine and then sent to the civil court, circuit court.
and then to piggyback on that, in sort of a copycat society, this could work out pretty good, but if somebody else doesn't come for review and throws up, you know, an LCD or LED sign like this, is it the same thing? Do they have to get review? Would they be eligible for?
If it's in the district, it'd have to come to this same board.
Okay.
So,
I mean, when we put this change, I mean, it was a lot of thought when we made this change.
Especially with the backlit portion. The bottom portion, I think as long as it doesn't move or flash, I don't have a lot of, and I understand what you're saying about needing to inform people of what's going on. But the backlit portion, we've been real sticklers about having everything front lit downtown. That would be my input.
I feel the same way.
Well, also, like, we're gonna get the soft glow. It wouldn't be real bright. 'Cause
It's
I know you
still
have
backlit.
If you got a problem with
instructions for
Elijah
that.
McLean's being like, well, put a spotlight on it then.
That's what we
Yeah.
like.
Yeah,
That's what it specifies in our design guidelines.
I guess we would prefer that it was illuminated.
What's the reasoning for the backlit? I mean, there's neon down the street. Isn't that more offensive than a backlit light?
No, it's having the cabinet sign, the big glowing panel. We've denied other people, I think, from that in the past. It's just trying to keep more historic nature in the downtown area. I agree, if you illuminated that top part, that Elijah McLean's part where it wasn't backlit, if it was just a white panel.
And you would be
with
okay
lettering.
with the bottom part being able to change?
I think the bottom part, I would put a stipulation on it that it can't flash or move or change. But once a day.
Day to day, like you said.
Lettering.
If it's for an
You would
event.
Change the events.
You can change the events, but it's not going to be like one of these
Scrolling or-
bank signs out here,
Yeah.
that.
Weather, temperature.
Right.
We have, when we first updated this code, council ended up taking it out, but you can even put stipulations for these, because we've worked with the sign manufacturers that, it can't change more than, you can put minutes, hours on it. So that way, it's an actual number. Once per day, you could do that, or you could do, you can't have changeable copy more so many times in an hour kind of thing. And they have to, there's specs that go with the sign that they submit with their paperwork, with their sign application. They have to show that they're meeting the illumination, that there's a dusk to dawn dimmer that they have to put in that, and then with that, they have to show how many messages a day, what's the change copy, what's the transition, that kind of thing.
And we do have that involved in the sign, how bright it would be.
So it'll be, the bottom will be, it'll kind of light up at night and then
And
cool
even
off.
if we illuminated the top, it would be like that too.
Yeah.
I mean, because it would be less bright at night and brighter during the day.
Yeah.
I think the code is like, you have to have 50% at night than what it is during the day. To be honest, with that black background and white letters, you wouldn't
Wouldn't need any.
You wouldn't really know the difference between
Well, we're
50% and
not gonna light it
100%.
during the- Yeah, we're not gonna light the Elijah McLean's during the daytime, there's no point.
Right. Well, I mean, the actual letters, if you were to
Bottom
do
line,
the messages, I think the code is 50%, so that way, because if you have to have it pretty bright during the day to be able to see it. If you keep it at night, it's going to be distracting,
Yeah.
blinding, so.
For what it's worth, I kind of agree with Brian. I think if you front light the top portion of Elijah McLean's, that falls into the guidance that we've got in place already. And again, there are a lot of thought and effort and energy went into putting those into place. And to the bottom, as long as it doesn't scroll all the time, to me, it's no different than churches and other organizations who have the letter boards and go out and change it every day or two a week. It just makes it easier for you all. So you just got to.
We wouldn't scroll it. We don't want to scroll it. I mean, because we want it to be classy and professional looking and.
I was thinking it and you said it, so.
Well, if you had a wedding there one day, it's just gonna be that wedding,
Right.
It's not like we're gonna change,
Yeah.
for something else after that. And we're only open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so we're not even open during most of the weekdays.
Yeah.
Thursday is
I
probably
think
seasonal.
stipulate no more than changing twice a day.
I mean, that sounds reasonable to me. So what do you think, Penny?
That's tough to say.
I'm sorry. She's being so good.
Rick, what do you?
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So we can motion to review it with stipulations that the top be front lit and the bottom portion we can go for with a black and light LED
Static.
static with no more than, I think, 2 changes a day. Do you think would there be a need for more than 2 changes a day?
No.
Okay.
No.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Okay, I'll
And
second
you want to
that.
include,
Is that, wait, SL?
Wait, yeah.
yeah, you want to include a color in that, correct? So it's black black background, white letters.
Yes, and I'm just going off of your illustration.
That's exactly what we want. We
Okay.
don't want color either. We don't need color on it.
Looks really good.
Okay, so I got
I'll
a
second
motion
that.
in a second.
Okay, he's writing, hold on.
All those,
Well, I'll repeat it back so that we know we
okay,
got
you
it.
repeat it back. Read it to us, Sal.
Edit it for me, Sal. I get a little.
I just want to make sure we got it right.
Okay with the time not being lit.
No, we're gonna light it, but we're gonna shine a floodlight on it, not gonna be back. Is there any stipulations to lighting it? I mean, does that have to be from the ground? Or when you say it's not back?
You can, I mean, with your
It's pretty
design
much
how
a
it
light.
is, you could uplight it, or you could,
It's pretty
Yeah.
much just a light shining from.
or
the-
downlight it, up or down lighting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could
Can't
have them on the
remember.
ground shining up. You could have them top down. It's hard to tell from the picture if there's, sort of a soffit over it or something.
Yeah, so if I put a light up there shining down, as long as it's shining onto the surface.
Exactly.
Not incorporated into the sign.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, we can figure something out, I'm sure.
Okay. He's writing.
This pen is smoking over there.
Hold on, I just want to, all right, so motion to issue the certificate under the following conditions. The cabinet sign, well, not cabinet sign, the Elijah McClain sign must be front lit. The electronic message display board has to have a static message with black background, white letters, no more than 2 messages a day.
We'd be happy with that.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Got a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
Great.
thank you all for coming.
I think they have another one.
Very
Oh,
Yeah. So
Okay, let's move on to item 2, certificate of review for Elijah's. It's a new roof, new gable
Oh,
on
yeah,
the
okay.
west side.
I didn't know we were doing that already. Okay.
Tony brought that in the other day.
I was gonna say, did we see that one yet?
no,
Yeah, it was emailed to us in the back, in the revised packet.
I think I must have thought it was the sign again.
You have a picture of that?
Yeah, I'm trying this. I think I stopped this computer
I didn't even know you
mid-update.
had that in, so.
What, and I,
Sal's upset his computer.
Beside the west entrance has 2 little gables that are kind of messed up because they ran a bunch of pipes and stuff.
that was that side entrance that went into the bar.
Correct, yeah.
Back before.
All this is doing is combining the 2 roofs to one peak, and then the front gable would be bumped out. So right now, there's 2 peaks going up
Right.
to the valley.
Mm, right.
We're gonna just take the roofs to a point, one gable's just gonna stay out, other gable behind it. If he shows you a picture.
Okay.
He'll show you.
I didn't see that either.
I missed it.
Is that to kind of take care of a water problem and?
Yeah, and all the holes in the building, because they actually ran freon lines and stuff above the roof there. There's holes in the brick.
And he did
Pipes
say
and
that it does still match the rest of the roof and the rest of the building. all the
Okay.
way.
We're just taking 2 peaks and making it into, we'd actually build over the existing. There you go, you can see.
Oh, there we go.
see the
Perfect.
difference there. It actually look a lot nicer if we brought that over the top like that.
So the top one is what's there and the bottom one's what they're proposing.
Oh,
So
perfect.
that's
Thank
what's
you.
there and that's what they're proposing.
So it's the bigger.
So that, we'll go to
There's
that.
one
We'd be
over
changing
here.
to the one, the big image on the left.
So this is the one that's,
That looks so much nicer.
That's a pain in the. That's just
It alleviates a water problem and cleans up, it just pretty much cleans up the side of the building better.
Same colors as
Ow.
the rest of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, white.
I'm not saying I need glasses.
You might need glasses.
I might need glasses. Okay. You said it's going over the existing 2? You're just gonna cover?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Any questions, comments?
I think it looks good. I'll make a motion to review it.
All right.
I'll second it.
Okay.
I have no-
All those in favor of issuing a certificate of review?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, so be it. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Just gotta have it for a file.
all your stuff. I'm sorry.
Next item is, we've got 3 applications for historic landmark designation.
Yes.
And I don't know who wants to explain that?
Right, so, well, remember, we've only done one of these. So we did the Godfellow, or the Goodfellow Cemetery.
Oddfellows.
Oddfellow.
The good fellas.
I was going to get there. I was going to get there eventually. What is the full name? It's the, what's the
The
organization?
Independent Order of Oddfellows.
Okay.
Hope Lodge.
Okay.
Or something.
That was our
Gotta go.
first.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's all right.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye,
Jamie.
Penny.
Bye, Penny.
Good night.
Say bye-bye.
And we don't need to vote on these anyway, so that's fine. We don't, that's fine.
Okay.
What happens with them? I forget.
So whenever you nominate we have a process where we allow property owners, there's three people who can nominate. The property owner, the Historic Preservation Commission, or City Council can nominate a property for a local landmark. And in doing so, the Historic Preservation Commission reviews the application, decides what stipulations they want to put, and when we draft up an ordinance. So in that local landmark ordinance, we can put, the last time the only stipulation we put was any demolition had to be approved by City Council. We left it at that. The code allows for any stipulations we put in there. We can prohibit demolition, you can stipulate use, you can stipulate new construction, color, anything. And it's up to this commission to come up with those conditions that we want on there. We thought on properties that were publicly or not owned by anyone on this commission or any organization, not publicly owned, we thought it was easier to do just prohibit demolition, because this commission can nominate a property that the owner maybe doesn't want it to be nominated, and like we can move forward without their permission.
Right.
And so the easiest way to do that is to just prohibit demolition. With that being said, with these three, so there's the Bleckman Building, which is the current Washington's Farmers Market, the old main post office where downtown Washington's office is, and then the Gott House, which is Gottfried's Cabin, which is the oldest structure in town, correct? Right. Which is by itself, I think, a nominating factor. But so I would just think it over next month. I'm going to come up with, I'll send you guys the ordinance we did for the Oddfellows. If there's any additional stipulations we want to add, we will make that recommendation, draft a letter, and we'll send it to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Because this goes from, we have to have an official letter voted on by the Preservation Commission. We send it to Planning and Zoning. They vote on a recommendation, and then it goes to council to have the final say. So it's got quite a process, and it can take about 2-3 months.
And has Oddfellows already gone through that whole process? I can't remember.
Yes.
It's already
Yep, it's already
designated?
done. Yep, and we passed an ordinance that the gazebo cannot be torn down, and even though it's not a historic structure, I'm going to say mausoleum, but that's probably not the right word.
The gazebo.
No,
Crematorium?
under the shed, there is a,
Crematorium.
is it a,
No,
no, it's the lost
Columbarium.
remains.
Columbarium.
Columbarium.
It was a C word.
Yeah.
You please don't write verbatim what we talked
Yeah.
about, Lord.
Make us sound a lot smarter. Not the good fellows.
We don't actually cremate people there.
Yeah,
That's already done when they get there.
yeah. The columbarium is a landmark. So, yeah, so right now the ordinance just says that neither of those structures can be demolished without council approval.
Do we have to wait till next month? If you have quorum, can they vote tonight?
Well, they could, but I mean, is everyone, that would just be the one stipulation then on all three.
Didn't you have to issue a letter from us or something, or?
Well, yeah, we could, if the motion's passed, we could have the letter drafted and signed by you instead of Carolyn, since you were the chairperson of this meeting.
Fancy.
I don't know.
I
So-
can't make the motion because I'm the one who signed all three of these.
Can he?
You people jump in.
Okay, you
wherever
can't do it without him. Can he not?
No, you could, because this commission can nominate people.
I can?
Yeah.
I make the motion.
I'll second. I was, where we only can pick one of these, but if we could do all three, yeah.
So
yeah.
are there any other stipulations we would want to add?
Yeah, so that's why we
No
could,
demolition, I think, is a must, but beyond that, I think you got to be careful about making it too. I don't know. I think keep it simple.
I mean, I agree. If we're going to vote on it right now, I thought we should.
because there is, if you go through, if I can get this computer to act faster.
I mean, I think demolition was basically what was on our mind when we.
It gives you the code gives you basically a quick rundown of what you could stipulate.
Okay, then maybe we should wait.
Yeah.
Let's wait. and
There
think
could be
about it.
something in there that we're.
If no one, I
Carolyn will be
think,
Sign it,
excited.
yeah.
I think
We'll
there
let
would
it
be,
sign.
black
if
line.
there was like a application for demo, I would say, yes, let's get this passed, but they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So, We can, what I'll do is I'll send the last ordinance, so you guys know what we did on the Odd Fellows, and then also I'll send you that section of the code, just a refresher. But we got these in last week, and I didn't even know you guys were filling those out, so Cassie dropped them off.
We've been working on 'em for a while.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, the application's not easy. We wanted it to be
No.
a long, we wanted it to be a long and a drawn-out process, because then everyone would be filing for their own house to
Right.
be a landmark. And so you have to fit a lot of history, you have to take a lot of pictures, there's quite a bit, well, obviously it was sent to you guys. And so, but yeah, that was kind of the whole idea.
Bridget, with the post office, I know when you all bought it, there was some stipulations on what you can do with it for so many years. Is that what it
No,
was?
we
Where I
had to go
guess,
through a Section 106 review when we purchased it. So, the post office. So, I mean, and then I think we recorded a covenant on it.
okay, I guess if there's something like that, is that something we want to look at? Just as an example of something, I mean, I know you're not going to get rid of the post office, but maybe, I didn't know if the federal government had some stipulations that we might want to just think about.
Consider.
They have to go through a Section 106 review when they dispose of property. And so then we didn't, some of them are more difficult because some of them have like murals in them and stuff. So we didn't have those. So theirs was, I think we had to submit a letter saying we would not demolish the structure.
Okay.
And
I feel like there was
we
something.
wanted that anyway. I think we wanted to, I don't know if we actually did record that on the deed. or
Did you
not.
have to say it was is there a deed restriction that it has to be a post office?
No.
Okay. Because that would be one thing, I mean, if you really want to keep the foot traffic, you could add that stipulation, this needs to be a post office.
No, I don't know. I don't think you can do that. I mean, you can.
Yeah.
I don't think we would want to do
want
that
that.
because you never know who can be the one that runs that and.
Yeah, you have to be careful you're not killing it.
But do we, well, I guess our new ordinance is going to control paint
Paint.
colors and stuff like that, so.
Well,
Or would we,
still voluntary compliance, it just requires.
so like on Godfrey's Cabin, we might
Could
want.
we make these properties have to be mandatory review, mandatory
Oh,
compliance?
see, you could,
Yeah. So I think we need to think about this a little.
yeah.
By one.
Ooh, I know.
Because
I
right
like
now,
that.
So
if
any-
you sold the cabin, I could paint it purple.
You could-
Please don't paint it.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
That,
But-
okay, we should
Yeah,
think
see,
about it.
that could be just a condition on the ordinance, that any modifications to any exterior of the structure has to be approved by the Washington Historic Preservation Commission.
Yeah, and for some buildings that's really important. I mean, for instance, the cabin. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we
that
ought
should
to
always be attached.
think about
Think
this
on
and come back next month and,
That would be easier than actually listing the colors and the the styles and everything.
No.
right,
So,
Okay.
okay.
and again, when do we have to submit our annual report?
I think last year it had to be by November. That was gonna be my next question. Do you want these to show up in the report?
Yes. Even if they're not approved by council. So we have to, we're a CLG, we have to do that annual report. And
Well,
when,
that would make us look fancy.
right, we had one last year, and it's a big chunk to fill that, that book. It's hard to make,
It must be a minimum of 1 inch thick. Of
Size 18 font, double space.
Right.
not gonna lie, Jill put a lot of stuff in there, and
Yes, she
so,
did.
and so,
Fellows, it was like 15 to 20 pages just for that alone.
Yeah.
so,
It was a lot.
but now we could put the applications in the picture in there, and we'll submit that with the. And well,
Usually
they even comment on it that I think we sent Mary Sayers our ordinance, or our section on the code, because they wanted to show it to other communities. that-
There's a good chance it would hit
Nominate.
council before the November.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, the fiscal year ends at the end of September, so go ahead and put it even if it's not finalized.
oh,
by then.
yeah, we have to submit it by September, we have to have anything,
Yeah, you know what? Because then you can be like in your next report, like,
Right.
they're
Yeah.
approved.
If it's been applied for. then-
yeah. Yeah, anything we submit in November, we stop reporting October 1,
Okay.
so.
And
All right.
typically we submit any trainings and everything we've been to, like a small synopsis of what.
Yeah, I've been keeping track of, I don't think you guys did a ton of them this year, but the ones that you guys have talked about, I do have little pieces. I need to go back there and see if I need more info.
I mean, well, I probably have more training that you don't know about.
And anything you
any of the folks
Okay.
that are near us end up in a lot of training.
Anything that you
If you email out, yeah, if you want to email out, usually Jill will send us an email saying what training, and then I'd go back and look and give you a laundry list.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick a day and go back through the Missouri and make sure I didn't miss anything that can,
Like we'll put all the curb appeal stuff in there now that's been published. And
yeah, that was all in the paper already.
so, okay, well, we'll send out some stuff on this to think about, and then we'll have a recommendation letter ready as a new business item for the next meeting.
Okay. Sounds good. Is there any other new business? Okay, I have a question, Sal.
Yes.
I was up here, I think that was in August when they had the Sunshine Law
Yep.
meeting. Are we okay doing the email comments?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep. We checked on that.
okay.
It was specifically left out, well, yes, we can do that because of the fact that it's voluntary compliance. They didn't want anyone's building permit not being issued because this group wasn't meeting for another month. And so they wanted this group to be able to review something via email. And you guys have the authority to say, if it's controversial, if you're getting mixed reviews, you're going to have to wait to the next meeting. But if it's something that you can all agree via email, that it's something you want to issue, we can go ahead and issue it.
As
That
long
happens
as you
with-
make those comments public, I assume, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, so somebody could ask to see our emails.
Yes.
yes.
I will focus on my spelling then.
That's right.
I'm kidding. I do know sometimes I can't reply to more than a certain number of people. So sometimes I don't always hit reply all. I just send one response back. So,
Oh, that's fine.
As long as Jamie and Sal know.
Yeah.
all right.
Do we have to make them public or just if they ask?
Just if they ask. So typically, we have, just with the certificate of review, we will offer, do you want to see the comments? And if they say yes, here they are. If not, then,
Would the public even know without asking, on the agenda, should we be putting that next to new business? Like, let's say.
Approved.
What was that?
Was it Fricky Studio?
Yes, yeah, it was the
Yeah.
last one. Should we put that on new business, that this was approved? part?
yeah, we should do an overview of anything.
That we
right, that's-
did.
Anything that was on, that we did via email, we should have.
CYA
On
yeah,
there.
for putting it in the
That way, everybody, it's
Right, they would.
it's one of those things, everybody knows something's been reviewed, and it's not
Yeah.
like, well, they never saw Fricky sign, but we actually did.
I saw a freaky sign.
Okay. All right. I'm going to move on to old business then. International Shoe Factory Historic District.
Yeah, we have submitted our final paperwork for Phase 2 to wrap that up. As you are all aware, we got approved for Phase 3. We got the Milestone 1 approval on Friday, and
Is Phase 3 out of FY 18's budget or
Yes.
19? Oh,
it's 18. Yeah,
It's
they want
18.
they want to complete it by August of 19, so it's the 18-19 budget.
do you have Phase 4 in your 19 budget?
There is no Phase 4, it ends, it's over.
Oh, because they make us wait a year.
Phase 3 is the third and final phase, and then you have to
Of the
wait.
survey.
And then you have to wait a year before you can resubmit anything that's eligible to be
Right, but we
nominated.
had something else planned for the off year.
It was the downtown, I'd have to look. It was the downtown, was the review of the downtown district?
It's something. We
have-
have it
there was something-
planned out through like 2022 or
Yeah,
2024.
there was something we could apply for every year till 22.
Yeah.
You're right.
So
But,
you don't have that probably in your 19 budget then?
well, we have Phase 3 in our, I haven't submitted my,
You haven't submitted 19s yet?
yeah, well, no, so we've submitted 18-19, which is Phase 3, 19-20.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The state's budget is different than the
Yes.
city's budget. So do you have matching grant funds in the city's FY 19 budget?
For Phase 3, yes. Because Phase 3 is October 1 of 18 through September 30th of 19.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I know the state
Why can't it
is-
just be January to
The
December?
state is in July.
Okay,
So
okay,
whenever I submit a new budget next May,
yeah.
We're good.
when I submit a new budget next May, whatever that filler was, that's when we'll budget the matching.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll have to look. We had a list, you're right, it was a map that had the years all the way through 2022 of what we were going to
Yeah.
request the grants for. And to be honest, every May I just put the same matching funds in, whether we have a grant in mind or not, because if something comes up,
want to be able to do it.
So,
Thank you, Sal.
but the phase 3, so we got the RFQ approved. The state has to approve those first. So we sent those out Friday afternoon. They are due back October 12th, I believe. And typically, and we've normally only get one response from Landmarks, but we'll see if other people respond. And then we have it budgeted. It's 146 properties, so it's a little bit smaller than, well, it's a lot smaller in phase 2 and a little bit smaller in phase 1. So hopefully that comes back a little under budget. We'll be able to show it to the state. But if not, we have the 20% matching funds.
And so after this, then we can hear from Landmarks on whether they feel there's any sort of a contiguous district possible?
Yes, so as part of this, they will decide what is all possible with 1, 2, and 3 and give us a recommendation. We won't be able to take that recommendation to the state for a year. I don't know what the
They
reason
make
is.
you lay off for a year, yeah.
Yeah. You have to let it sit. I don't know, so.
Was the shoe factory in phase 1, the actual factory?
It's actual factory is in phase 1, so it
Okay.
like kind of went around it. And then phase 2 is the horseshoe that wrapped around the other sides. And now phase 3 goes all the way down to Fifth Street.
Okay.
The district itself is absolutely massive. It is bigger than all of our other districts combined. But they found paperwork that said there were houses on Fifth Street that were sold as part of the shoe factory plats. And
It's pretty
there were
cool
some
what
on
they
Fair
found.
Street that were part of it. So,
Wow.
I mean, it's big. Here, you know what? I'll pull it up while we're.
Hey, look, the computer's listening to you.
Yeah, no, I had to turn off the update. Yeah, so you can see 1, 2, and 3. 3's actually been, is larger than this now. I edited this. They came back and wanted us to add the houses on Stafford.
Wow.
So.
What about
This-
like,
these guys behind you, we have probably four active districts in this downtown area. And then this is all one district that we just got. served.
Right.
you said you added here?
Yes, because they were surveyed as part of the one that we got denied. And
what's this kind of?
that's the Horn Apartments, or Horn Street Apartments.
Okay, so probably a lot of this was torn down to build those apartments.
Yeah.
That weird circle drive there.
They actually said they are going to add that, but they're going to add it as one parcel, the whole apartment building, just to list it as non-contributing, which is a bummer, but.
That is really
Big.
crazy.
And if you remember, they came back with phase 1 and said like only 20% was probably eligible, but we knew that because Ryan River was in it and all, like,
Yeah.
you know. But.
So you're
for a
saying it
district-
stretched all the way to Fifth Street?
Yeah, they said there were records of homes that were part of that plat, probably where the apartments are down into Fifth Street.
So what we need to hope for is that there are property, that there's no jumps in, that there's no big jumps, that it has to be touching all the way. So that's why a lot of the downtown, like from 3rd to 5th, a lot of that is not in the downtown district because there were too many holes they couldn't connect.
That was our
To get the
problem
rest.
on Fifth Street.
That was the same problem on 5th.
What I would bet is that you're going to get this block here in front of the factory.
Those are all pretty good.
And then Landmarks added this. We didn't originally have this. It followed, this is High. They recommended that we went and did Fair Street because they said that there was documentation that showed that was part of it as well. So I'm hoping that we encompass some of that and then maybe come back in here a little
Our
bit.
problem is that the vinyl siding salesman did a really good job in this area of selling vinyl siding.
Yeah.
That's really cool, though.
That's
Hopefully-
because the asbestos guy did a good job before that.
Interesting.
All right, but phase 3 is still slated to be done August 2019, which it shouldn't take that long, but we said that last time.
And there's still some hope. We're still just waiting to hear something of someone potentially interested in the actual factory.
I was, thinking.
No update from last month, but again, they were not interested in getting it nominated by itself, and they were not interested in a TIF district.
Funny, huh? Hey, more power to you if you got the bank book to do it.
I don't have any education items.
All right. No education, curb appeal. Oh, I don't think we have anybody here from curb appeals.
And we already issued them all.
We did those. Creating new history award.
They're gone.
They're gone. We'll move on. Jasper House. Is there an update on that?
No, there finally is an update, right?
Yeah. How many years has this been on the agenda?
Oh my god.
Like,
Quite a
Since
few.
I've been here, 3. Yeah.
Wow.
So, per I think your guys' request, or downtown's request, what we pushed, it was going to be spoken about, or voted on this Thursday at council, and I believe they pushed it to October 1st because it was having that Thursday meeting was an odd time. Not a lot of people could come with the Fall Fest and everything, so it should be voted on October 1st as a Monday
As far as voted.
to
you
accept
have
the
a-
bid.
To accept the bid, okay.
Yeah, and it was Steve Solentrup's bid was 150 more than downtown's bid. And
gosh darn it.
there were 3 stipulations on there. To be honest, I have not been part of the.
They were not approved.
They were not-
yet.
yeah, I didn't stay for executive session on those. So
He asked for waiving of dump fees. One of them was the parking spots.
yeah, I thought
That one was, and then he wanted, and he wanted the city to pay for the closing costs of the loan, or the closing cost, the dump fees, and then the parking spots, and they said no to the 2 and yes to the parking spots.
What about the parking spots? What was that?
to have shared parking because that lot where the building that was torn down last year, right next to it is our employee parking lot. And if he wants to put in 2 units there, they want to be able to make sure that he can have 2 designated spots there, which at the end of the day, it probably will end up being on that lot. But I don't think the plan is to separate it into 2 separate parking lots. It's just to have 2 spaces in the employee lot that are designated for the apartment.
Like, do you think he would, because that property line is like, what is it, it was 18 feet to the north? So do you think he
We're
would
probably going to do a boundary adjustment.
let that go and let that become public parking?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay.
I thought they said that they wanted to do a boundary adjustment because even the lot, there was some grassy area in the back that really should be with the apartments that's not, or with the building. So I think we're going to adjust that.
Okay.
Again, I don't know for sure, but
So that's
Well,
exciting because once he buys it, we will see work begin within 90 days. And it'll be complete within 18 months.
you had to start it within 90 days and complete it within a year, I think. Wasn't that?
18 months.
18 months, okay. So a little bit longer.
Well, good, we can move
But-
that off old business.
That's exciting. Yeah. Well, and then he'll come before us with his plans.
True.
Yep.
And that'll be mandatory review, mandatory compliance.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's a win, folks.
That
Yeah.
is, that is, that's
Yeah.
good news. All right, moving on, budget report.
We paid our last amount of $6,000 to Landmarks, and that was the only changes we've had because we did have to buy new picture frames for the curb appeal. So there was, yeah.
I made every attempt to get an updated budget for you guys today, but Mondays are not my day.
That's fine.
It's okay.
I will have it for the next meeting.
That's all right.
So, and then we
And-
probably won't spend any money between now and next month anyway, so.
Informational plaques for historic buildings. Rick, you know anything about that?
We had to put it off.
They all up?
that face?
He's like,
Why, wasn't me.
what?
The only one that's out there that I know of, I thought, if I remember right, wasn't Todd Bolin gonna put one up someplace?
Well, the only people I can remember who were doing their own were
The chamber. Did they ever put it up? I haven't seen it.
I don't,
I don't
think
think
they did.
so. We definitely
I
gave
don't
it to
have
him.
any. I don't have any.
The one that I gave to Rick? There's one that I handed directly to you. Which one? I'd have to look back through the minutes.
Well, the other one was the gallery. What is his name?
Oh, Brian.
Brian Haynes.
Yeah,
That's-
that building.
I think I've seen that one. I
That
think
is it
it's
on
up.
there? She wanted her
Oh,
contractor to do
Yeah,
it.
Pat did that.
Yeah, I think it's up. I think I've seen that one.
Those were the only 2 that I remember that we gave to the property owner to do themselves.
Well, it wasn't budgeted to, remember, because our phase 2 was more expensive, we allocated our plaque budget to the,
Yeah.
so we
Okay.
didn't have any money to buy any this year anyway.
Okay. Great.
And then we put,
But otherwise,
So will we have money in the new year?
yeah, because I put the exact same budget forward as this year, but the Phase 3 is less expensive than Phase 2. So, should be.
So I guess in the next couple of months, you can let us know how many we can afford to buy.
Yeah. Well, I think it's been typically
6?
4 a year.
4?
Yeah. Because we did the math where if we did our full list, someone sent me a list, and we should be done if we finish our list by like 2026 or something. If we did 4 a year.
If we don't mess up.
We were doing more than 4
We
a
were
year
doing
for a
6
couple
a
of
year.
years,
We
and I
started.
can't remember why.
Ryan Haynes building are the only ones
Okay.
that were out this year.
Okay.
Check the chamber.
So the chamber's the only one that could be floating.
Rick, did you take the chamber one?
I think that's the one we gave you to get.
Didn't we give that to Dana?
No.
No.
Danny
No, we
Cassette?
gave that,
Pretty sure we gave it to them.
I
We
think so.
did.
I think that's what
I
we
think
did.
Danny's got it. I'll ask Danny.
Okay.
I'll see him.
That should be a colorful answer.
Yes. That's all right. All right.
I'm just putting next meeting in my phone.
Conferences.
There is a really a kind of a cool training that's coming up in November on the November 9th in Cape Girardeau, and it's about white elephant buildings or taking back buildings where you can't get the property owners to motivate. So the speaker his name is Joe Borgstrom, and he was the former director of the Michigan Main Street Program and Michigan Economic Development at the state level. And I've heard him speak several times. He's very good. I know we'll have a decent crew heading down to Cape Girardeau for that day, down and back. So if anyone would like, Sal, I think you actually would like him. So we'll go down and back.
Would like him? Do I not like a lot of people?
No, I'm just saying, I think what he would have to say would be interesting to you. I should have said it that way.
what date is that?
Friday the 9th. So,
The 9th.
yeah.
You say of October?
November.
November.
November. So, but hey, Cape's a great place to spend the weekend if you want to stay down there. But we will definitely be coming back because we have a murder mystery that night.
Oh, that's right.
The National Main Street Conference is in Seattle this coming year from March 25th through the 27th. So you as commissioners have the option, we can apply for scholarship funds. If anyone, it's Seattle, Washington, March 25th through the 27th. And then
we do have some funding available in our budget for training. It wouldn't cover everyone's cost to get there, but it could cover, it depends on how many people sign up. It could cover some hotel or the conference registration itself. So if you're interested, let us know. We'll get a list and then figure out how much we actually
Yeah.
have to allocate.
And then there's a SHPO scholarship we can apply for as well. So, because obviously it wouldn't be cheap to go to Seattle. And then just food for thought, they announced that 2020 will be in Dallas, Texas. So, and I know that we'll be doing that as a road trip, and because we'll be stopping in Main Street towns between Joplin and Dallas. Missouri Main Street's going to put that together. It'll be kind of a learn as you go as well. So
Is that also in March? Is it always kind of
it's between March and May. We hope for March because April and May is rough because of special events and stuff. But yeah, so I don't know the date yet in Dallas, but that's when that'll be a really good one because it'll be less expensive, and then also be able to ride and see more places along the way.
Okay. Calvin Theater.
Nothing.
No new news. Okay. Any other business?
Jamie wanted to bring up the recent code change, but she wasn't able to stay for the whole thing, so. I don't know if
Okay.
you wanna push that off till next month.
Yeah, because I don't know if she had a specific question, but what we proposed did pass at council, no issue, so.
So what does that mean?
So now, anytime anyone wants to do any alteration, painting, awning, whether it requires a building permit or not, they have to come get a certificate of review. Now, I know that could be difficult because how are we going to know if they're not coming to City Hall for a permit? But I think it'll be an educational item. I know the paper did write an article on it already. Technically, it is a zoning violation, so if you start replacing a roof, if you replace an awning, start painting without getting your certificate of review, we have the capability of doing, we call it a stop work order, and it's It's not a stop work order because there's no active permit, but it's a zoning violation, I guess we could do. But we'll be able to plan it there and have them stop until they come in and at least get their certificate of review. Again, it may upset some people who, if they get caught and they realize, look, you're stopping me just so I can come in and talk to you and I can still do what I want. But that'll get the education out there and people will start realizing you have to come in first and at least look at the color palette and figure out what type of, signs we always could look at. But awnings, if you're just replacing it, that doesn't require a permit. Same with windows and roofs, so. Kind of like Ralph Gildehouse didn't have to come in to replace his roof, but he came in and showed all the plans.
Right.
So,
Okay, good. All right. If there's nothing else, the next meeting is going to be October 15th, 6 o'clock. Anybody want a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're done.
Look at you, use
Fall
the
Festival.
gavel.
I think I was supposed to do that at the beginning, but I forgot.
I don't think I used that thing once the whole time.
I did.
this is the best part.
Best part, yeah.
They did announce that the National Alliance for Historic Preservation Commissions, their 2020 conference will be in Tacoma, Washington.
Ooh, good city.
Is it?
Yes.